Hey there, action fan, it's Avatar review time. Today I'm looking at Legend of Korra Season 4, Episode 3, The Coronation. The episode begins with Republic City getting ready for Wu's coronation. Everyone's there. Varric, Eska, Densa.
Those two just keep getting creepier, by the way.
Sue, and Kuvira, who uses the coronation as a platform for declaring the Earth Kingdom officially done, and for the purposes of greater stability, she is now the head of the First Earth Empire.
So this is how monarchy dies, to thunderous applause.
Wu is a little upset, but he's not the only one. Mako and Sue are also none too pleased with the great and powerful Kuvira. Sue confronts the Earth Empress, and only gets Irontown moved to the top of Kuvira's hit list for her trouble. Kuvira also seems to be driving a wedge between Mako and Bolin. Poor Mako's having a hard enough time too, keeping Wu from getting tarred and feathered by Kuvira fans. Of course, when the king loses his marbles at a Ba Sing Se-themed mall, Mako gives his lowness a long overdue reality check.
Too bad. I was enjoying Mako's life as a bootlicking toady for a foppish nobleman.
Oh, and Varric is using preserved spirit vines for some sort of mad science. Meanwhile, over at the B-plot, Korra is eating dirt lovingly prepared by Iron Chef Toph. And speaking of heavy metals, Korra still has trace amounts of mercury left over from Zahir's assassination attempt. And Toph either can't or won't remove the stuff until Korra deals with her lingering fears over that one time she almost died. Okay, this episode certainly advances the plot, I'll give it that. Kuvira's big revelation about being a power-hungry despot who crushes people with her army of stormtroopers and space marines to make herself feel better about that time Daddy didn't buy her a pony or whatever wasn't much of a revelation.
Yeah, Private, even you figured out she was no good.
Exactly. Hey.
In fact, the only guy slower on the uptake than you is Bolin.
Okay, Bolin's a little bit of a mushroom.
I.e. kept in the dark and fed on bull, you know what.
But that's only because he's being manipulated by Kuvira. She's using his trusting and helpful nature against him. And everyone else. The most interesting potential plot wrinkle is whatever Varric is planning with those vines. He's got them hooked up to some sort of a machine, so it might be a new energy source or some Dr. Frankenstein stuff. Either way, that's one question I can't wait to get an answer to. The biggest character development goes to Prince, now King Wu. Seeing him on the worst day of his life makes him come off very sympathetic, and sincere in his desire to turn his life of debauchery around. I definitely approve of this new direction for Wu. With Mako by his side, hopefully he'll turn out to be a worthy leader for the Earth Kingdom, Earth Empire, Earth Place.
Because unelected dictators who gain their power by inheritance are better than the ones who gain power by force.
Now for Korra's training on Dagobah. This is where we see the few action-y bits in Coronation. Toph's still got it, both in terms of control over earth, mud, and metal, and in terms of her daredevil-y extrasensory perception. She can both sense the leftover metal bits in Korra's system, and Toph uses the swamp's extensive root system to see the goings-on in the outside world. It's awesome to see this earthbending master again, although I'd be lying if I said I missed her attitude.
Well, you gotta take the bitter with the sweet, Private.
Korra is slowly but surely working her way out of the slump she's been in, and hey, that's progress, right? Finally, let's look at the humor. There are some funny moments sprinkled throughout the drama, intrigue, and story setup. Bolin brings the funny like always. Wu can make me laugh, even on the worst day of his life. What a trooper. But the comedy MVP is some random guy in the crowd at Wu's coronation, with a close runner-up being some random guy in an angry mob. Power to the people. Okay, now it's time to break down the good and the bad in Legend of Korra Season 4, Coronation. On the good side, Korra's made yet another step forward in her recovery. We're seeing the full extent of Kuvira's ambition, and Bolin is starting to wake up and smell the jackboot polish. Varric has some quality mad science in the works. Wu might just end up being a good guy after all, and Toph. Need I say more? On the downside, a lot of this stuff just confirms what we already knew or at least strongly suspected, without really giving us any new information. And that's sort of a big problem. So I give Legend of Korra Coronation a 3.5 out of 5. If you're interested in more reviews of anime, movies, TV shows, comic books, or video games, check out my channel on YouTube at StupidPrivate913. Or find my Facebook or DeviantArt pages for video updates and more. Thanks for watching.
Hey kids, today's show is brought to you by the letter 4 and the number potato! I'm a stupid private.